Hi guys, for today's video I wanted to paint something inspired by Chinese New Year, which begins tomorrow. 2019 is going to be the year of the pig, and the year of the pig is pretty special because it's the last of the 12 animals in the current cycle. Now, I've been reading a lot about the history of Chinese New Year this week, and I really wanted to make a children's storybook styled illustration today, kind of inspired by a pig, just to commemorate it. And honestly, just kind of give myself the chance to chat about it a bit and all the stuff that I've learned, and also just to hear what you guys think too. Now, it's probably clear from my accent, but I'm British, and I wasn't really exposed to Chinese culture growing up. So when I first read the zodiac animal story of Chinese New Year, when I was a bit older, I heard the version where the animals are taking part in a race across the water, with the top 12 winners being the 12 animals of the zodiac. But the calendar isn't some direct relation to the Western idea of horoscopes, even though the two often get compared because they're both broken down into 12. The Chinese calendar is actually sexagenary, which means it repeats once every 60 years, and it's based on 12 earthly branches and 10 heavenly stems. The 12 earthly branches relate to the seasons, and when the certain plants and animals wax and wane, this would have been something clearly observable to people at the time and be a good indicator of the change of the seasons. And the heavenly stems relate to the planets, and which were observable at different times of year in the night sky. Again, something that ancient civilizations could measure and observe. The calendar is said to date back to 2700 BC and is still around today, which I personally think is amazing. And the fact it can relate and fit into the Gregorian calendar as well, I believe shows how intelligent it is as a system to measure time. Now, the 60-year aspect is interesting to me too. The year of your birth, and thus your zodiac, is known as the Ben Ming Nian, probably pronounced that awfully, and so when the cycle repeats for you, you'll be 60, which at the time was considered very special, as it would be seen as a person's full lifetime. If you're like me, you're going to be wondering how those 12 animals get to a 60-year cycle without repeating. And the way that this happens is each animal cycle also relates to different elements, and the 5 elements being metal, water, earth, fire, and wood. And like the animals before them, they relate to each other in both positive and negative ways. The positives would be that metal generates water, water nourishes wood, wood feeds fire, fire creates earth or ash, and earth bears metal. Whereas the negative, and by that I mean the negative impact of 2 elements against each other, would be fire melts metal, metal chops wood, wood breaks up earth, earth absorbs water, water quenches fire. And so from that, the zodiac animal and elements in combination is believed to denote a lot about your character and those that you'll be most compatible with in your life. If you're like me, the first thing you'll do now is go find out what your and everybody that you care about zodiacs are and how you're meant to relate to them, and it's going to be great fun if you're looking to go on a little research trip, and I would definitely recommend doing it. And if you do, make sure to tell me what you are down below in the comments so we can see how poorly we all relate to each other really. I mean, I'm a metal sheep by the way, which for the mental maths people either means I'm 27 or 87, so it's just your guess on that. And yeah, I could just talk on and on about this calendar and how much you're meant to be able to read about someone from it. It's down to the hour that you were born is meant to mean something, because certain planets were clear in the sky at that exact time, and it can be an interesting rabbit hole. But I'll just finish up by talking about the zodiac animals, and specifically the pig, as it's the inspiration for this video in the first place. The order of the animals relates to the parts of their personality which help them gain their ordered position in that race. And often the 12 animals are broken down into 4 further groups of 3. Those 3 animals all sharing similar characteristics and ways of thinking, as are often thought to get along well with each other. The first group is the rat, the dragon, and the monkey. These 3 creatures are considered to be the most intelligent. The ox, the snake, and the rooster, funnily enough, my mum, dad, and sister are each of those 3 creatures, so I'm quite literally the black sheep of the family. But these animals are known to be deep thinkers and are goal-orientated. The tiger, horse, and dog all value personal freedom and choice, and from that they're pretty independent. And the final group is the rabbit, the sheep, and the pig, and they value peace and cooperation. The 12 animals are also broken down further into yin and yang signs and elements. The yin and yang is split down the middle, as you probably guessed, with 6 animals represented by each side. Funnily enough, when I was researching this, I heard a theory that the yin and yang relates to the amount of toes each animal has. Basically, the rat, tiger, dragon, monkey, and dog are said to have had 5 toes, which is an odd number, which is thought to be positive, and so they were yang, and the horse got an honorary mention in that group within yang, as its hoof would count as 1, whereas the other 6 have an even number of toes, with the snake having 0 toes, and thus putting it into yin, the negative side. Interestingly, this kind of sets the rat ahead again as one of the most special animals in the group, as the rat has 4 toes on its front legs and 5 on its back, kind of making it this fusion of yin and yang in this theory. The rat's just very well regarded in a lot of these stories and theories, which I think is really interesting. Because I'd say, in general, we aren't usually a big fan of rats over here, which I've always kind of felt bad about, as I know they're very clever creatures. And yeah, hopefully with all this information, when I say tomorrow we're going into the year of the Earth Pig, it might have a bit more meaning to you than it did 5 minutes ago when I started rambling. And with that, I want to wish you all a happy Chinese New Year. I hope you enjoyed this little mini chat and illustration, and go off to fall down the same rabbit hole as me, and enjoy looking to learn more about this 4,719-year-old calendar. See you all next week.